Hi, welcome to our new show. It's called Highway to the Soul. My name's Ian.
I'm William.
And today, we're going to take a journey to better us down that road to find that place we call Source, or God, or whatever you like to call it.
As some people call it, same person, different name.
Exactly. The destination's still the same.
Self-enlightenment and self-empowerment for the greater good.
So, we sat back on a big group of topics. Anything to strike out on the topics you thought chose?
Well, since this is our first episode, I think we should cover the kinds of things we'll be talking about.
Well,
because, we don't want to make our viewers feel like they're in school.
That's cool.
Well, for one, and this is a big one, especially with me, negative programming.
Oh, yeah, negative programming. We should just turn this whole first episode into negative programming.
Mm-hmm.
What negative programming basically is growing up, you have these experiences, or people say some things that start to create these subconscious blocks to anything you do in the future. So let's say, a good example is, there's a story about this man who was part of a very psychic family. He tried dowsing for the first time, and just the act of the dowsing rods moving by himself put such a shock to him that it put a fear that when he grew up and he was able to understand it and he tried it again, he wasn't able to have the same strength of power he had when he was younger, because he still has that negative programming from that first bad experience that he had.
And also, with Ouija boards. Negative programming on Ouija boards is, you let things into this world when you mess with them. You get possessed. As someone who uses one, in my other YouTube series,
I might call it LNO.
Late Night Occult, this has been proven to not be true. There's various other YouTube channels that use them, but nothing's happened. The whole idea, mainly the church, which not discriminating if you're a church-going person, but all that negative reinforcement saying that this is a bad thing makes people stay away from them, when technically they're not that bad. It's just another divination tool.
Exactly.
Like tarot cards.
Tarot cards,
scrying mirrors,
Ouija boards, pendulums. They've all had this kind of negative taboo on them to people who try to negatively program. They're both tools and guides at the same time. All they're there is to help you find an answer. That's it. There are rules applied, and if those rules are followed, none of those negative issues that people say will happen.
Yeah. They're nothing more than tools that need to be respected. Especially these. You just don't want to throw them around and disrespect them. Because they do take on a life of its own, a little bit, of its owner. And I don't want to get into this whole thing about, inanimate objects having a soul, but when you have tools to deal with, divination,
they do take on some of your
energies. Mm-hmm.
Now, if you take this, where this theory comes from, where we're in what's known as an objective reality. Everything has its rules, its guides. But if you go down to a more concrete level, everything you do leaves an imprint. All those tools you work with, it leaves your energy in those. It may not be there. It's the same as when a thought has been given, it goes out in a specific frequency of secret vibratory rate to the universe.
In other words, in layman's terms, your psychic energy, your essence of that energy is still there. Kind of like on your fingerprints. When you touch something, your fingerprints are still there.
It's kind of like the heat you leave behind. If we go into objective reality, if I lay my hand right here on this table and then take it away, if somebody came over here with a thermal camera, they can see that imprint still there for a small time being until the heat dissipates. But that energy is still there. This heat is just moving particles moving energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it stays there for a while. Sometimes, depending on the severity, it could stay there a lot longer. But usually energy over time dissipates.
And another thing we're going to talk about, this is a big one, there's a lot of misconception.
By the way, I'm not crying. It's just this dude has a lot of cats.
Yeah, we're in my mom's library, which...
So much cat fur.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to sponsor a location, it'd be great.
We'll much appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a big place with a, with a classical.
But enough of that, we're back. We'll follow the topic.
And a misconception is that when people go into New Age things or the occult, they have all these misconceptions by other people, and the biggest one is it's either going to be all Satanists,
All evil.
all evil, and
Demonic energy.
demonic energy, and the biggest one, especially with psychic energy, is the fact that people think, oh, you can move stuff with your mind.
That falls under a different chain of mind power that's known as telekinesis.
But
That's not anything to do with psychic energy. That's magnetic power. That's
technically it is a form of psychic energy, but not the common thing which we all have. Which, again, a lot of people assume that telekinesis is what psychic energy is. And it's really not. And another big one is TV psychics.
oh yes, TV psychics.
That's another big misconception.
We live in a society today where we went from what was in history during medieval times, where every town you go to would at least have at least one fortune teller to have a tarot deck. They'd go there, they get their divination, but over time, people started leaning away from it and trying to make money off of it. And now you got all these people like Miss Cleo, other scammers on TV, where they try to get all your information before going in.
John Edwards is a big one.
Yeah. One of the biggest things, they actually did a commercial recently where some guy went into his tent for this fortune teller, and it had a bunch of hackers in the back just hacking the person's information, just giving it to him so he can divine with it.
Unfortunately, that's one of the downfalls of living in the modern age. You give your name, and some guy in the back just looks your name up on
Facebook.
The FBI database.
Yeah. So be careful what you put out there. People can just find you like that.
And side note, just because you're on the FBI database doesn't necessarily mean you're a criminal.
Oh, no.
But that's a different story for...
Everybody exists in that database.
Yeah, but that's a different story for another time. But right now, we're focusing on helping you to become a better person.
Yes.
Because we all could be a better person.
Yes. Looks like we're running short on time, so let's do this. Let's choose a topic. What should the next episode be about?
Well, we could go into more negative reinforcement.
Negative
more
programming,
detail.
or... Well, here, how about this? We'll give a list, and I'll make a Facebook poll for everybody. So we got negative programming. What else should we choose from?
Manifestation.
Manifestation. Also, in some other terms, you could follow that in the law of attraction, creation, or thought equals creation. Or you can go with Thomas Troward, who said, the mind creates a nucleus, if left undisturbed, can manifest in itself what it was created for. But after we have that Facebook poll, we'll probably set up we'll probably announce it on there'll be a video in between, and we'll just get some questions to be added on there. And then we'll answer your questions on the next show. Anyway, this is Highway to the Soul, and I'd like to thank you for viewing. Yes.